Hey guys, welcome back to the Hot Mess Medium show. I am your host, Natasha Mack. I am a evidential psychic medium, an esthetician, and a now reverend. I'm a reverend now, and a wedding officiant. I feel like so much has happened since the last time I recorded an episode. And I truly feel like there's so much to say. I feel like there's so much to catch up on. But I'm just going to do my best to share what's really coming up right now. And my intention is to just continue to update you guys as I continue to record episodes. And that way I won't get overwhelmed or get in my head about it. Because I am a bit of a perfectionist and overthinker. I'm currently recording this in my new space, which is located inside of Blissful Aesthetics Spa in Espanola. So I now rent a room in the spa, which is so exciting. I am loving it a lot, and I actually have these whoopsies. One second. Okay, so I actually have these pink clamp thingies on my fingernails right now because I am soaking off my polish, which anyways, so it takes a while, so I thought, why not record an episode while I am doing my nails, right? Because why not? What else am I going to do? Usually I'll just turn on Netflix or something, but this feels really good because I've really been feeling inspired lately, and despite everything going on in my life, which there is so much, and that's part of why I took a really long, much needed break from the podcast, from readings, from being really active and present on social media. I really, really felt called to just focus on not just getting through the day-to-day, but just being more present in the day-to-day and focus on my health and my wellness and my family and my home. And that has been, I just looked down and it says 222. Anyways, that has been really good, and it's been so needed. We're currently investing in our home, which feels super good. We're getting our bathroom renoed. We're getting our deck done. Although for the deck, we're going to obviously have to wait till springtime because I'm in Northern Ontario and it's already super friggin' cold right now. I'm surprised we don't have snow yet, but that is coming, I'm sure. But for those of you who don't know, I've been on a journey with cancer, which actually started in 2022. Well, that's when I found out about it. I had a tumor starting to grow on my eyelid back in fall of 2021. But obviously I didn't know it was a tumor. It wasn't until a year later that I actually had it removed once it got really, really big. And, they sent it off to a lab. It turns out it's this super rare cancer. Since then, I've had 2 big surgeries on my eyelid. And the last one I just had actually was this year in May, which was just a month after my grandmother passed. And then since then I noticed a lump in my neck, kind of where your glands are, so when you're sick or you have a canker sore and it kind of feels swollen and painful in your neck. That's kind of how it was, except it wasn't painful. It just felt swollen, and I just noticed it, and I just kept thinking well, maybe it's from like maybe I'm gonna be sick. Maybe it's from all the crying from my grandmother passing away. Maybe it's, I don't know, like I just kind of obviously didn't, my first thought was not cancer, obviously. And I will say that I was told that the cancer in my eyelid couldn't spread. So I just kind of, again, noticed it, but didn't let fear or anxiety take over. So then time passes, and here I am doing a pedicure for an elderly client who I absolutely love so much. She honestly, like, just feels like my own grandmother. But at the time when I did her pedicure, like, she didn't know anything about me. Like, nothing. And basically, I did notice that she may have had a touch of dementia, possibly. Obviously, I'm not here to diagnose people, but I noticed that she would repeat herself a few times and say how beautiful it was in the room, and then we'd talk about something else, and then she would say it again, type of thing, right? And I've obviously seen, like I've met with other people who've had, dementia and things like that. My own grandmother had dementia and Alzheimer's. So again, I'm kind of familiar with it. So I just go along with it, and I had such a beautiful conversation with her. And I will also add, she had no idea the cancer I previously had. So again, she didn't know anything about me. And out of nowhere, I swear, she just randomly looks at me. She puts her hand over the right side of her neck and says, "Yeah, my mother had cancer right here in her neck." And she said it, and she's like, it wasn't painful or anything, but, and then she just started sharing about her mom and her mom's cancer. But what just threw me off guard was the fact that she's saying she had cancer in her neck, and she's literally pointing to the exact location, the exact side as where my lump was. Oh, I have chills talking about it. And I was just kind of in awe that she said that. And it, when something's a message, like, I don't know if you've ever experienced that before, when something is very clearly a sign or something is very clearly a message, and it's just sort of this magnetic feeling. It's this pull, this pay attention. You like feel it in your body sometimes. And so that's what was happening to me in that moment. I was like, hey, I do not believe in coincidences. This is wild that she just said that, completely unprompted. And as a medium, I believe that those who experience dementia or Alzheimer's, even those who are in a coma, children or people who are nonverbal, my belief is that they all have something in common, which is they have 1 foot earth side and 1 foot spirit side. So they're so much more open to the spirit world, and they're so much more connected, and they act as messengers very often. And so in that moment, I knew that she was a messenger for me. And I literally called the doctor that day. That day, I called the doctor's office. I asked to have an appointment. I felt silly kind of explaining myself, like, because who I was talking to, I had to kind of share, because just for me to say, like, oh, there's a swollen gland in my neck, they're not going to take that very seriously. So I had to, of course, explain, the previous cancer, and, that it's on the same exact side, and that I just want to get it checked out just in case. They asked me several times if it was painful, and I said no. And they're like, well, how do you even notice it, right? But either way, I got sent for an ultrasound. And then that confirmed, like, yeah, there is like an unusual lump there. I mean, we don't know what it is, but like it's worth looking into considering your history. So, from there, I did end up getting, of course, referred back to my oncologist, and I got a CT scan and then 2 MRIs, because one for the area in my neck, one for the area in my eye, and then everything just kind of snowballed from there. I did have a biopsy as well. Oh my God, needle in my neck, literally. So nerve-wracking. But the doctor was super cool. I told him this, which was not good for his ego, but he loved it. He actually looked like AJ from the Backstreet Boys. Oh my God. And he was so funny. So he made me feel super comfortable. Anyways, getting off track here, but yeah, everything came back that, it's the same exact cancer in my eyelid, and basically now, I have to go for more surgery. I need to go for another surgery for my eyelid because there's a new baby tumor growing there. And I have to go for a full, what is it called? Parotidectomy, something like that, because the big tumor in my neck is the parotid gland, and so he's going to remove that, but also, oh yeah, and I missed the part I didn't mention, that the MRI revealed that there are several glands in my cheek and neck that are full of cancer. So it's not just that little baby lump that I had originally felt, which is wild. That was really, really hard news. I really felt blindsided, I guess, by my own self. I don't even know how to explain that. I just could not believe it. But yeah, anyways, so I'm getting all of that removed. Hopefully as soon as possible. So, you know what? That kind of leads me to this next part, which is I was also in a car accident. But what's so crazy about it, it was actually on the same exact day that I was told I had more cancer than anticipated, or that I thought I had. So basically the night before, I had a dream that me and my sister got into a car accident and she was hit by a truck. And that morning, I picked up my sister because she was going to the appointment with me, and I told her that. I was like, yeah, so weird. My dreams have been so vivid and weird lately, which they totally have been. And I had a dream that you and I got into a car accident and you got hit by a truck. And I kind of said it super like chill, like, haha, isn't that so weird? And she's like, yeah, like hopefully that doesn't come true. And then I forget about it, like completely. And then we go to this appointment, which was so intense. I met with a surgeon and a radiologist, and, they're just kind of giving it to me straight. Like, here's what's going on. Here's the reality of the situation. Here's what needs to happen. And it sucks, but that's the way it is, right? And so that was a very emotional, heavy appointment. I kind of felt like this, oh my God, like, is my life over? And I know that sounds extremely dramatic, given the fact that it's, I don't know. Anyways, but they were also mentioning how the way this cancer is spreading, it's really aggressive, and the next spot would be my lungs. The next place for it to go would be my lungs. And so maybe it's not dramatic. Maybe, maybe I'm just like being kind of a dick to myself. But either way, I felt this like impending sense of doom, right? I was very emotional, which is to be expected. I think that part is absolutely valid. So we get into, we leave the appointment, me and my sister, we get into the car, which for some reason I took my husband's car, which he just got like a month before that day, because I really loved the car. It was like really, I don't know, it was just so comfortable and better on gas, obviously, and easier to park than my big Suburban. So I'm sitting in the driver's seat, and I asked my sister, hey, do you mind driving? I'm too kind of distraught and emotional. Meanwhile, she was also emotional. That was so hard for my big sister to hear, obviously. We had a good cry together. But obviously she was like, yeah, for sure. Of course I'll drive. So we were going to go to the mall and get some new moccasins. And so she gets in the driver's seat, and we literally get to the stop sign. And she, she was going to turn left. And there was a bus there. It's so hard to explain, but basically there's like 2 sets of lanes, right? There's like 4 lanes. There you go. And so there was a bus who was trying to like turn into where we were. But then there's another lane. Obviously that other vehicles can keep going. You can either go straight or you can turn, right into where we were. And so she's looking, and I'm looking too, and it looks clear. Like, aside from the bus being there, turning into where we were, it's totally clear. And so she starts to go forward, and this is where, it's unfortunate my intuition didn't kick in before this, but this is where I know there's a vehicle waiting there. As in, a vehicle waiting there to hit us. Like, I know that there is a vehicle that is going to come and we're about to get hit. But I'm like, no, Tash, you're just paranoid. Because I already have a weird fear of turning left. Story for another time, but basically, she advances forward in front of the bus. And I'm looking over. Sorry, I'm assuming, the bus must have just been like parked there to like pick up people. I don't think it was turning in. It wasn't turning in. That would make more sense. Obviously, it's a little bit foggy and blurry, but so I stretch my neck forward to look so I can see this vehicle coming. And it's there. A truck. And I yell really loud. I can't remember what I said, but she saw it, and so she stepped on the gas to get away from him. If she hadn't, he would have hit her. He would have hit her, and it would not have been good. It would have been really bad. Instead, he hit the back tire, like that area, like the back passenger, the rear passenger seat on the left side. And we spun a few times, and she hit her head and her shoulder, and I just kind of like glued myself to my seat as we were spinning. It was so wild. And then, eventually we stopped moving. We're facing opposing traffic, and this woman comes out of nowhere. The stranger comes out of nowhere. She comes up to the vehicle, opens the door, and she sees that I'm sobbing. So her assumption is that I am hurt. And she's asking me, like, are you hurt? Are you okay? And I was like, no, I'm fine. And I'm like just sobbing. And I said, I just found out that I have more cancer. And I just start sobbing some more. And I was like, I don't know why this is happening. And like, I think in the moment I was like, why does God hate me? Like, all these things, because I was just so emotional. And of course, had to blame God, right? I don't mean like, of course, but just in those moments, it's like, I don't know. I of course took it personal, is what I'm getting at. And so she just held me. She just hugged me and told me everything was going to be okay. And it was just everything I needed in that moment, and then she went around and checked my sister, and her and her husband ended up staying with us the entire time. There was lots of tears, lots of hugs. Me and my sister, of course, got checked out by the ambulance. We were both okay. The man who hit us, he even said all that matters is that we're all okay. And yeah, I'm sure there's like details that I'm missing, but that's okay. I just, yeah, I couldn't believe that I had that dream and then it happened, but thank God my sister wasn't actually hit like the way that I saw it in my dream. But that was kind of the worst day of my life. It was pretty bad. Pretty bad day. Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty wild. Where do I go from here? Oh, yeah, okay. So since then, I've just kind of surrendered even more because I had no choice. I really had to take a good hard look at what is it do I have control over? What is it that I don't have control over? And I just put my focus on that because it's all I could do. And so again, I focused on my health, my kids, my home, my marriage, and I tended to my garden. That's what it is, right? Your life is your garden, and it's up to you, like, if you're going to pour into it or not. It's up to you if you're going to weed it out once in a while and plant new seeds, get rid of, the old stuff, make room for the new stuff. Like, it's up to you what you do with your garden. And so I just really, really poured so much love into my garden, and it was really needed. And I'm grateful that I listened to that. The other thing I thought of is like, of course, Spirit would ask me to put a pause on readings. Like, of course, like, how am I going to pour into others and, be this vessel for Spirit if I'm not, if I have nothing left to give, or if I'm not pouring into myself, and I just needed to like clear my head. And it feels so much clearer. It feels so much better. And, recently I've been getting the nudge from Spirit, like, okay, it's time. Even though I'm going to be having surgery, it's like I just still feel significantly better than I felt in so long. And I have so much trust and faith when it comes to my surgeries that are coming up. And I don't know, I just feel different, but in a really good way, like stable and grounded and clear. And so I'm ready to just get things going again and start serving again, not only with my aesthetics, because that has been a constant. I've still been doing that, but that requires a different kind of energy that I've still been able to continue to give, So, but now it's like I'm ready to open up more to doing, readings again. And more episodes again and just have fun with it without the pressure and the like, oh my God, I have to do this type of thing, you know? So one of the main reasons that I even hit record was because last night I heard a message in my mind, and I heard it again this morning. Because last night I didn't even write it down. I was like, okay, if it's important and I'm meant to share it with others, I'll be reminded of it in the morning. And sure enough, I was. And so I feel called to share that with you and just kind of open up to channel whatever messages, like whatever additional messages connected to that are meant to come through for all of us. So what I heard was, what if what you are going through right now is exactly what is needed to get you to where you want to be? Like, what if exactly where you're at and what you're experiencing is exactly the recipe that is needed to get you to your answered prayers? Like, how would you handle things differently? How would you see your current experience differently? Like, what would change if you knew that? And so I really sat with that all morning, just kind of thinking of that, like, wow, what if what I'm going through right now, which is a lot, but what if this leads me to where I'm meant to be, what I'm supposed to be doing, or receiving what I'm meant to receive, being who I'm supposed to be? Because let me tell you, this journey has not only taught me so much about myself, but about my strength and resilience. And there's so much that I've let go of that I truly thought mattered. You know, there's so many things that used to be so important to me, or that I made a lot of time and space for, or that I really worried about. Like, there's so much. I'm going to have to make a list one day, and it's going to be a really, really long list, but there's just so many things that I used to do that's just not a part of me anymore. There's so much that I've let go of and changed, and I feel more me than ever. I feel the happiest I've ever been in my entire life now, even though I have cancer and all of this stuff happening in my life. Like, I know earlier I used the word stable, but it's like I have stability. I feel so grounded. I feel so clear. And I don't know if I would have gotten to this point in my life without this like journey, without this health stuff. It's so weird to say that. Like, and there's part of me that's like, oh my God, people are going to think you're crazy, or I don't know. Honestly, I don't even care. I'm not saying everything happens for a reason, because I don't even know if I believe in that anymore. I don't know how I feel about that. There's so many things I've questioned this year, 2024. Oh my goodness. There's so many things I have questioned. There's so many things I thought I knew that I don't actually know. And then there's things that I didn't know that I now know. And I'm just so grateful to be where I am right now. Even though it's so far from perfect. I'm so not where I thought I would be. I'm constantly being surprised by life. And I think it's because I just really, really surrendered this year. I had no choice but to surrender. And that means like really letting go, really going with the flow, really allowing the river of life to take me to wherever it was flowing. And I had no idea where it would take me. I had no idea any of this would happen. And yet I'm so happy. And that's what I'm supposed to be sharing right now, I think, is that sometimes we have this vision in our minds of what is going to bring us true happiness, what is really going to fulfill us, where we truly want to be. And yet, like, I'm not anywhere near those things. I'm so over here instead of over there. And yet I do feel a sense of fulfillment. Again, not everything is perfect, and there's always room for more fulfillment, obviously. And alignment is something that constantly shifts and changes and evolves. And I know that I'm going to grow through more, and I'm going to outgrow certain things. And there's seasons, right? There's seasons of life, but I'm just saying this season that I'm in right now, it's not anything that I ever expected for myself, and yet I'm so grateful to be here. And so let me ask you again, like, what if this season of your life, exactly where you are right now, exactly what you're growing through and going through, what if this is what leads you to your answered prayers, even if it looks different than what you've thought up in your mind, or this idea or this vision that you've been clinging onto for dear life. Because I know for me personally, I clung to these ideas and these visions that, like, I have to have that, I need to get there, I need to do that, I need, and yet no, I don't. Clearly, I've been shown very different. And almost like, God knew what I needed when I didn't. Obviously, I still have a choice involved, and I can make, different choices and decisions for myself, but wow, what a difference in my life when I just actually fully surrender and just, continue to follow my intuitive nudges and continue to listen to, my intuition, of course, and also flow to where I'm being led to go, even if I have no idea where the fuck that is. I have no idea where it is. For example, I was a psychic medium and a mentor working with people all over the world, and then all of a sudden I see this ad to, work at a spa and train to become an esthetician, and it didn't make any sense at the time. It didn't at all. And then I do it anyways. And wow, what a leap of faith that was. But then now I'm like, oh, but here I am. And it turns out I love doing nails, and it turns out I love holding space for people, and I love giving massage. And just this morning, I was literally doing a manicure for someone who I know. And we get into this really deep conversation, and it's like I could feel healing taking place as I'm literally doing her manicure because of the conversation we're having, and the space that I'm holding, and her openness, and her being vulnerable, and the safe space that was created to make that happen. And I'm like, wow, I love this so much. And, plus I'm such a creative person, and I love to paint and whatever, and I love art. So it's like I get to also do art. It's so weird. Again, I would have pictured this for myself, and yet it just makes sense and it works. So, yeah. When it comes to, what I'm going through with my health, I may not understand it. You know, my oncologist, when I asked her, like, what could have caused this? She literally said, bad luck. Which is so messed up. Do I believe that? No. But I'm like, okay, I don't know yet why I'm going through this, but someday I will. And who knows where this will lead me? Who knows why this is part of God's plan for me? But I have to trust and believe that He has a part in it, and it's going to be for good. Good needs to come of this. I believe that with my whole heart and soul. And I am just going to trust that this is going to lead to something more for me. And anyways, when you are experiencing a very challenging time in your life, you're in a season where you're in it and you're wondering why this is happening. I want you to take a moment. I know it's hard. Believe me, it is so fucking hard. It's so hard. I'm not asking you to do any sort of toxic positivity or like, you know, what's the word? Like, don't gaslight yourself or like bypass. There we go. No bypassing. That's not what I'm talking about. It's like, can you take a moment to see this from a higher perspective? Can you take a moment and just decide to surrender and decide to look at what you are in control of and just focus on those things and kind of let go of the things that you can't control? Can you put it in the universe's hands? Can you put it in God's hands? Can you just like believe for a moment, even if you have to fake it till you make it, that you are so incredibly supported and that good is absolutely going to come of this? And can you trust that it's all going to maybe make sense one day? And you're going to have a different understanding of it. You're going to be able to see it from a totally different lens. But once you're way on the other side of it, you know? Surrendering and letting go. I know it's easier said than done. It is hard. But I feel like that has been drilled into me this year. Like, just drilled into me to the point where I give way less fucks. I care a lot less about the stupid stuff. Things that truly don't even matter. Like, I don't even know where to start with that. That's going to literally be an entire episode probably of all the things that don't actually matter. That used to matter. But yeah, either way, I don't know. There's just this like sense of peace and acceptance that I feel in my bones that I don't even know how else to describe it. And I know that that's available to not just me. It's available to you too. But it takes practice and it takes patience. And it honestly takes deciding over and over again to give yourself some grace, to give yourself the space you need, to do things for yourself out of love, even if you don't want to do it. It's like being your own parent, right? Having that like self-discipline. But like, there's a balance, right? Being self-disciplined, but also showing yourself grace and giving yourself space and having compassion for yourself. Like, there's a balance in it all. And yeah, again, remind yourself, what if this is actually what I need to grow through in order to be exactly where I want to be, and I'm being led there? Like, what if it's happening right now? Because, like, everything around me is being divinely orchestrated and I'm so supported. You kind of feel delulu when you're like saying these things to yourself, but honestly, it works and it helps for me anyways. And that's why I'm sharing it, right? In case it will help someone else. But you just kind of like, wait, what if this is exactly what I had to go through to get to where I'm meant to be? And just focus on how you can make the present more enjoyable for yourself, instead of constantly focusing on, well, I should be here, or what if I was still there? Should, whatever. Anyways, I feel like I go on forever, but this is like way longer than I was expecting to record for. I am just so grateful that you're even listening to this right now. I really hope that this was helpful and supportive. Send your questions my way. Let me know if you, I don't know, let me know if this was helpful and if you did enjoy this. Yeah, stay tuned for more, because more is coming and I'm really excited about it and I can't wait. I can't wait. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.